So our fourth stop in our Microsoft 365 maintenance process is Cloud App Security. And this is something you can purchase a la carte, and it comes inside of Microsoft 365 E5. So we were just in the Microsoft 365 security and compliance area, and we were managing things like retention policies, deletion policies, archive policies. We were looking at the threats that are primarily external to our company. Cloud App Security, the service, sets a baseline for what is normal activity once people are inside your data. And then when it sees things that are abnormal, then an alert is created. And then from that point, with the alert, we can configure what we want to happen. Just keep the alert, fire off an email that creates a ticket, or do you want to actually shut down access in progress by that user for things like mass downloads, mass file deletions, mass file sharing? So these are things that you just don't have any visibility with a traditional file server. So let me take you through the process of going through our fourth step, which is Cloud App Security. So from step 3, we were already in Office 365 security and compliance. So all I have to do is just dig a little deeper, and that's what we do with Cloud App Security. And then I go into Manage Advanced Alerts, and then from there I click on Go to Office 365 Cloud App Security. And once I'm in there, I go straight to Alerts. Pro tip, I would go ahead and drop this down, and I would go to Microsoft Online Services. Otherwise, there's just so much inside Cloud App Security, and I want to whittle it down to the stuff that really matters for now. So I'm going to show an example right here. Here's activity from an infrequent country. So I click on this, and here's a user performed an activity and did it in a country that user has not been in 180 days. Well, I know what's going on. This user is on a vacation, made perfect sense, but here the system is notifying me of that. The user got in, everything was authenticated. The system says, well, they got in and they did authenticate themselves just fine. We just think you should know because this is unusual when somebody is in your system. And sure enough, they're inside of SharePoint. So what I would do in this case is I would go ahead and resolve it and just mention, okay, this is fine, resolve the alert. Another thing you can do is you can click dismiss and make it a little smarter, and you can say too many similar alerts, alert is not accurate, etc., and dismiss that alert. The other thing you could do is you could go over here into adjusting the policy. So if I want to make some changes to it, which is something you have to do sometimes when you're analyzing these systems. So I might want to adjust this in the future. Now, the way we have these alerts configured in our system, and we configure for client system, is they will send an alert into support@Xerillion.com, so it'll create a ticket. I will also get an email directly too, because I'm the owner of the tenant. I can configure it to send a text message, and I put some governance in place. I can notify the individual user in case they are unaware, they've been hacked into and they're unaware, so they'll start getting alerts in their mailbox. A very powerful feature is to actually, I could go in as far as suspending the user account itself in action while this is happening. So I was looking at the individual alerts. Now, if I want to make a policy change, here are the type of policies in place inside of Cloud App Security. Mass download by a single user. So if somebody's doing a huge download of sales folder, marketing folder, operations folder, client folder, wouldn't you like to know? And if that's happening, again, certainly we'll fire off alerts, but maybe a text message goes to the IT manager or the owner, and then here we go ahead and set the governance to suspend the user in that case. And Cloud App Security is also looking out for some other things as well. An unusual amount of file sharing activity by a user. And here's another important one. Unusual file deletion activity by a user. Ransomware activity. Suspicious inbox forwarding. I've been in situations where I go into alerts and I see something that concerns me, and the alert wasn't configured to do things like suspend the account. And then after I look at the item and I think, well, next time I do not only just want to be alerted, I don't want to just see on the dashboard, I want to kick out that user going forward. That's when you would go ahead and make a ticket saying we need to tweak this system next time, so we have governance in place to go ahead and suspend that user. Again, you wouldn't do it here. You'd go ahead, look at the alert, analyze if it's a real problem, and then from there determine how you want to maybe adjust that alert in the future, or determine if it's a false positive. Next, I want to show you something that's also interesting about Cloud App Security. Cloud App Security keeps track of all the apps that users are using outside of the company apps. For example, here's one right here. There's a low severity risk, but it's saying data exfiltration to unsanctioned app. So this is somebody in our company where the system says the average use of Google in your organization, and every single person in our company is using it, the average use of Google in your organization 296 kilobytes were uploaded daily per IP address. 451 kilobytes of data was uploaded daily per user to Google. Okay, great. And this particular alert was set because somebody uploaded 540 megabytes. Now, it's interesting because I know this user, I know what they were doing, makes perfect sense, but the system created an alert, which I'm glad it did. And it's interesting here because imagine you have a bunch of computers on your local network, and this user has access to your company applications. They're logged in there. And then this user is also on some sort of web app where they're logged in that web app. And now this user has access to both of these things. Well, it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say, well, what if that user downloaded some malware through some sort of malicious link or an attachment in an email, and then that malware is saying, well, now I'm logged into both places as that user. Maybe I can send this data, this company data somewhere, or do something, or put some ransomware in place where I can try to get some money from this company and destabilize things. Cloud App Security gives us that capability to see what is going on with the apps and not just the data itself. The other thing that I can do is, if I wanted to, is I could go ahead and unsanction the app. So I just click this right here. So I just click it, unsanctioned, and then I go into Cloud App Discovery dashboard. Right up here, I can go ahead and generate block script. I can select one of these firewalls, so Cisco ASA, and I can configure to generate block script. There it's going to make a script file that then I can go ahead and block this on my local area network. The capability to block it through the cloud, saying on an individual computer to block that application from running, that web app, doesn't exist yet. But still, that is pretty sweet that you can do that. Now, I also want to point out in discovered apps, when you ask people how many apps does your company use in your business, you're probably just thinking of the Windows applications, or maybe the few web apps that your people are working with, that you log in to do certain things in the business. But people usually come up with maybe 10, 15 different applications they use. You can see right here, in my company of 16 users, it has identified 680 applications. And you can see right here, okay, great. Some of these have nice scores. You know, a security score from Microsoft showing 10 out of 10. Here they are Microsoft applications. And we can see non-Microsoft applications will score well as too. And I've marked them as either sanctioned or unsanctioned. Let's flip the score for the least secure. Well, here's one called Streak. It has a 0 out of 10 rating with Microsoft. And I've got a user using it, and there are transactions. So I go ahead and unsanction that app, and now I've got visibility on that app. And I can also choose to block it through my firewall if I want to go ahead and turn that feature on. Here's all the other applications here too that people are using. You know, and here's one. 5 people in the company have it. It scores a 2 out of 10, and it's Ad Excel advertising. You know, so who knows what's going on there. But at least now you have some understanding of what's going on in your network. And you can choose to make a ticket and talk to your users, maybe set up some training, or if you want to go ahead, you can block that on your firewall if you have one of the supported firewalls in Cloud App Security. But Cloud App Security's main goal is to watch for unusual behavior on your Microsoft 365 cloud services and alert you. And then you can set up real-time policies if you want to block people from doing anything further, again, like mass file deletion, mass file copies, mass file sharing, stuff like that. So this stop in the maintenance process is about seeing what's going on with your data once people are inside your data. It could be intentional, unintentional, but just to make sure you have some visibility, because you have no visibility with a traditional file server the way you would with Cloud App Security. If you want to talk to us about putting Microsoft 365 inside of your company, let's talk. We're a 6-time Microsoft Gold Tier 1 cloud solution provider. We sell and service Microsoft Cloud subscriptions, and there's a little note there that we only service clients that we are the subscription reseller. We are a much better experience than an enterprise agreement or working with Microsoft Direct. If you're in an enterprise agreement, imagine this. You're a company with 250 employees, and you have an enterprise agreement, and you are at the very bottom rung with Microsoft. What do you think that experience is going to be like? And also, you have to prepay on an annual basis for all your consumption. With a cloud solution provider model like us, you don't pay any extra, and it's monthly. Add subscriptions, remove subscriptions, and it's a much better experience. Also, if you're working with Microsoft Direct, you're going to have a much better experience working with us as well. We're going to be able to guide you a lot better than just calling into the first level support with Microsoft. We also have a premier direct technical support relationship that is even higher, and we spend substantially on, than the general partner support, and that's because we are a Tier 1 cloud solution provider. Lastly, if you want us to get you set up and you want to take over the management, fantastic. But also, if you want us to do all of the management and supporting your users with an unlimited help desk, unlimited system remediation, end user training, monthly IT management calls, and virtual CIO planning, which is what I do, you can talk to us about that too. That's our Confident Cloud Advantage. So finally, remember this: Microsoft 365 is the most advanced system that Microsoft has ever made, but it does require maintenance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.